Welcome to Lessons Learned. I am Lily and I will be hosting the show today. We have two amazing guests today. We have Smurfy, and we have Merc to God. They both have some amazing stories to tell, and I'm actually really excited to have them on here today. We are here every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. And I like to start and end my show with a quote. And last week we ended the show with what? Oh my God. Okay. So we start the show with a quote. And the quote that we ended the show with last week that I asked everybody was, all life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. What if they are a little coarse and you may get your coat soiled or torn? What if you do fail and you get fairly rolled in the dirt once or twice? You get up again. You shall never be more so afraid of a tumble. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? I'll let you guys read it too. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? So I've been thinking about this for a week, and there's a lot of things that if I knew I wouldn't fail, I would definitely do. But I think for me, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty deep stuff, I'm going to be honest and say that I think for me, it would be actually like getting into my next relationship, because dating nowadays is scary. So if you guys are just tuning in, I'll give you a quick rundown. My name is Lily, and you are watching Lessons Learned. I have amazing guests today who are going to be sharing their stories with us. Now, at the beginning of my show, we start with the quote that we ended with last week. And I will read this one more time. All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. What? I'm trying to read it backwards. Sorry, guys. What if they are a little coarse and you may get your coat torn? Hold on. Soiled or torn. What if you do fail and get fairly rolled in the dirt once or twice? Up again? You shall. Oh my goodness. You shall never be so afraid of a tumble. Thank you so much, Allah. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? Holy cow. I don't know how, Jay. Being a husband and a father. Okay. Okay. What would you guys attempt? Seriously. So we've got love. We've got being a father, flying. Smurfy says my business. I don't know. It's weird, right? Like if you really stop and think about it, like how many things in life have we not tried? Little things like maybe cooking someone's favorite dish, or trying out for a team, especially like as a kid. How many times did you want to be on some team or on a sport event? Ella says baking. I think it really is, right? So it took me about 4 years, Ella, to get my baking to where it was edible. My children would feed my cookies to the dog for a couple years. So yeah, I know all about the baking process. I caught my kids feeding my chocolate chip cookies to the dog. So yeah. But if you guys are just tuning in, I'm going to go run through this one more time. My name is Lily, and you're watching Lessons Learned. I have two amazing guests today, and we're going to be discussing life lessons that they've learned. I'm really excited today. So Smurfy will be going first, and she's going to be discussing something that I think I'm still sort of working on getting through, which is a big reason why I stay single. You know what I mean? So I'm actually really excited. Hopefully I can keep a straight face and I don't cry this week. Y'all, these messages have been powerful, and they hit me. They hit me hard, you know. They pack a punch. So be ready, you guys. It's crazy how the guests each week somehow line up to send a message, and sometimes the message may not be directly related to what they talk about, but somehow every week each guest is able to touch me in like a way, you know, to make me think about bettering myself or to think of something from my past. And I'm like, wow, maybe that should have been something that we worked through. But you guys, it's 10:05. I'm going to get ready to introduce Smurfy here. So you guys know, I do want to thank you ahead of time for all of the gifts. I appreciate you guys so very much for them. But I will be turning my comments off, which also gets rid of the gifts. So I won't really see that when I'm talking to the guests. And I do that because my guests deserve my undivided attention. They're only in my box for about 20 minutes and then I'm back to you guys. So please forgive me. I thank you for the favorites. I thank you for the gifts. And with that being said, whenever Smurfy's ready, we're going to introduce her because I'm so excited. Hi, love me. All right, here we go.
Good morning.
Hi.
Have my sound up.
Good, good, good.
So at the bottom right, there's a plus at the bottom right. If you should be able to click that on the right hand side and click on settings and gift audio. And then you can turn that off. You can toggle it off. You got it?
Got
there
it.
You go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how are you today? How's your week been?
I'm good. My week has been great. I had a slightly drunken St. Patrick's Day yesterday, so but we're okay. We're lots of fluids. We're powering through.
All right. So Smurfy, what are we going to be talking about today? What is the topic that we're touching on?
The topic that I'm going to talk about, or the lesson I've learned, was to train my mind to be stronger than my emotions. Do you want me to go into the detail of that? Just touch on briefly. Okay, so I was married for 7 years and it was an abusive relationship, all kinds of mental, emotional, sexual and physically abusive. And I lost myself quite significantly during that time, and all of my friends, because if anyone that's been through that knows that you kind of lose everything. I've been divorced now, God, I'm trying to think how long it's been. My son's about to be 18 and I left him when he was 3. I like to say that's when I kind of reached my survival moment. I survived it and I left him when my son was 3. And it didn't go away immediately because, as you know, when you've been through abuse, they don't just magically disappear. So I had to train my mind a lot of the time whilst I was in it, not to allow it to break me. And it did break me for a number of years. But then when I found my career during it, and I realized that was what was going to get me out of it, that's when I learned to train my mind to hide and cover my emotions. And it was an empowering moment for me. And I have one book in particular that I would suggest everybody reads, which is called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. There's 4 books in total. That the first one was the most hard-hitting for me. And it teaches you about how not that you are in the situation because of you, however, you're only in control of your thoughts and your feelings. You can never control anybody else or a situation. The situations will happen. How you react to it will determine how much it will affect you, which sounds quite blasé, especially when you're talking about abuse and being in an abusive relationship. But it really did save me, and it changed my life because it got me out of the situation. And it wasn't, I haven't had an easy journey since. It's taken me a long time, but the training my mind to be stronger than my emotions is really what's got me through all the difficult times over the years. And even with the app, you have people that come in and you have, you know, a lot of trolls and stuff, and you have to remain in control and resilient so it doesn't affect you. And the only way to do that is to be able to control your emotions. And when you fully master it, you're at peace with everything. There is nothing that can get to you or affect you, whether it's even family members or friends, or there is really nothing that damages you enough to change your path. I do have one son, he's about to be 18.
What are some of the, like, what would you say are some of the steps you took, or like how were you able to start that training your brain? Like, what was some of your first steps in this process to training your brain?
So
You know what I mean?
it's very important to be in the silence. The silence is really important. You will learn so much about yourself and develop the most when you're in your own silence. We have a tendency when we come out of anything traumatic to try and mask it, whether it's drinking, going out, partying, whatever it might be. We have this, I'm gonna just do this to keep myself occupied. But it's vital that you don't do that, that you actually stay in your own silence, stay home, listen to your thoughts and feelings. And that's the best way to recover. That's the best toolkit I suggest to anybody that comes to my stream as well that are going through stuff is, are you happy in your silence? Because if you're not happy in your silence, you're certainly not ready for anything else either. You can't be in another relationship until your cup is 100% full.
Yeah.
Am I okay to answer the questions in the comments or no?
Go ahead. I just turn them off so that I pay attention to you. Otherwise, I look down the whole time.
No problem. So his father is not in the picture. My son tried to commit suicide when he was 11 because I found out after the fact that everything, not everything, but a lot of what he was doing to me mentally, emotionally, he was doing to our son, even after we divorced. So when my son was going to see him, he was being mentally and emotionally abused and tried to commit suicide when he was 11 or 12 twice. And through that, his dad decided that he didn't want anything to do with him. So he left. And I'll be completely honest, since that day in particular was one of the best days ever because he could no longer affect me and he could no longer affect my son. But even through all of that, I think it's really important as parents when you are separated is not to speak badly about the other, because even though obviously he done what he done to my son, I never told my son what happened because that was still his dad and I still wanted them to have a good relationship. So you should never, irrespective of what you've been through, talk badly about the other parent. That's really important. Children don't stay children for very long, and they will get to a point where they'll make their own decision, and they'll see them for who they are. So it's not your job as a parent to trash them or talk badly about them, because that will just affect your children for future.
Yeah. It's yeah, the children need to know that it's, you know, you're doing the best to stay positive, and then they'll kind of do the same. But yeah, when they get older, they learn all the truths on their own, you know.
Absolutely.
When they get that age, and there's no point to upset the child before the child needs to be, you know, especially when they're young. So yeah, I feel that completely.
Absolutely.
So what do you think is the biggest, like, change for you since you've been able to do that? Like,
I think it's helped me in all walks of life, not just in my personal life, but in my career. I work in corporate, and it is very, very tough. And it's really important that you are able to control your emotions. So it's definitely helped me in all walks of life, and even future relationships. You tend to have a better ability to set boundaries and not allow anyone to flex them. Because if you've been through something that, especially whether it's, you know, childhood trauma and abuse, or you've been in a relationship where it's abusive, you lose yourself, and it's very difficult to find yourself. So you have to be in the silence in order to find yourself. And then you'll know what you will and won't tolerate for the future. We have a tendency to jump into relationships really quickly, because we have a fear of being alone because of the stigma around it. But it's much better to be single and happy than in a relationship and miserable, because you have to spend the time to know your boundaries. And even if it's not an abusive relationship and you have a relationship and it ends, it's really important to self-reflect and see what could you have done better in that relationship to stop it ending, because that will strengthen you for your next as well. So there's a lot of people on the app that are single, and they're single because they're working on themselves and they're really trying to be the best of themselves. So when they do select their other, that it's going to work and it's going to be longer term.
it is so hard to explain that to people. And I don't, like, they automatically think something's wrong, and it's like, no, man, I really am, like, I'm okay. You know, aren't you lonely? No, I'm less lonely now than I was in the last relationship that I was in. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's it's all in how you feel about yourself. It's that self-love. And like you said, you've got to sit alone to find that. And if you're not happy sitting by yourself, how is somebody else going to be happy sitting with you? You know, you're nobody else.
And it's no one's job to fix you. It's not your responsibility to fix anyone, and it's no one else's responsibility to fix you. And I remember the most empowering moment for me was when I moved out and I got my new house, and I had nothing, like we had nothing, but I sat in my living room on the floor and was the happiest I'd been in 8 years. So for me, and in silence, and for me, that was the most empowering moment. That was when, okay, this is it now. This is my new life. But like I say, it didn't get easier. Even with my son and what he went through, I had to learn to control my emotions, because it was just me and him. I have family. I had parents. I have a brother and a sister, but nobody came to the hospital. It was just me and my son. Nobody came to support or showing love. So again, I had to ensure that my emotions were stronger. My mind was stronger than my emotions to support him through that without having any support myself.
That had to be really hard. That had to be really, really hard. Wow, more power to you. It is hard to get through a lot of things alone. I've had some stuff, but not quite like that. A lot of my stuff I kept to myself, so people didn't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they couldn't be there. I didn't give them that chance, I guess. Mm-hmm. But so what do you do? I like to ask everybody that comes on the show. One of the most important things to me is self-love. How do you show your self-love now that you're on the journey to self-love? What do you do for yourself?
So self-love to me is a continual journey. So I love myself, and I know that people think that means I've got a huge ego, but it doesn't. And if you think that, I'm okay with that, because I love myself. I'm happy with myself. If I was to end up single for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be okay, because I like me. I enjoy my own company. I like my peace. I like being able to do what I want, when I want, clean up if I want, don't clean up if I don't want to, read, whatever it is that I want to do. That to me is so important. And I think somebody in the comments, I think it was Housekeeping, said earlier, you can't love someone else until you truly love yourself. And there's the analogy of the full cup. I need to have my cup full before anyone else comes along and overfills it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not requesting anybody to come and fill my cup, because that's not fair to them. And that actually means you're emotionally unavailable.
Yes.
And therefore it's not a healthy relationship. You have to be at a point where you want someone, not need them. Yeah. If you need someone, it's unhealthy.
Yes. It took me about 35 years to fully understand that. I spent a lot of my life like settling, and just kind of, okay, well, whether it's a job or relationship or anything, I just settled. Well, it's okay for now. It's but then in the end, knowing from the beginning it wasn't what I wanted, it was, you know what I mean? Like it was an automatic, not good situation. So I guess, let me see here. Hold on. I had a question and now my brain went dry.
That's okay. I think as well, especially as women, from a young age, we're conditioned we are required, thank you so much, we're required to grow up, find someone and be a wife. That is our job. Be a wife and be a mother. So it's very difficult as women. And there are lots of men that go through abuse as well. The statistics show it, and there's a lot that are not spoken about. But we are so conditioned that that's what we're supposed to do. We tend to stay in relationships too long, which is why you have this almost movement at the moment of these women that are strong and independent. And I know that some of the men find them overbearing, but there's a reason behind it. We have been so conditioned for so many years of our place in the world, and with the jobs that are happening, and with the pay gap decreasing, and all of the stuff that we're doing as women, as well as raising the children. That's why there's this movement at the moment of these strong independent women that don't need no man. And there's that joke about I'm a strong independent woman that don't need no man, because they are. And men need to learn to embrace that and not shy away from it, and have your lady be your queen, and you empower and you help her the same as she will to you, because women who are strong will naturally submit to the right man. It's not about us being the most powerful in the relationship. We will submit when a man comes along and shows power and growth and development. And I think people have a misconception that strong women, they just want to lead the relationship. That's not what it is at all.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Empower me, I'll empower you, and that is just, it's how it has to be. You know, it's respecting each other and helping each other be the best that you can be. I don't,
Absolutely.
you know, and yeah, I won't settle until I've got that person that I'm just like, well, darn, you know. And then then you wake up every day and you're like, oh, and you go to bed every night and you're like, oh, and then you're like, God, you know what? I'll get that eventually. That scares me. You know what I mean? Like that part of it scares me. But I guess did you notice any, like, I guess, patterns at the beginning, like before, like that gave you a sign that you knew you had to get out of the relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I kind of, when I looked back and I self-reflected, it took me a while to look back and self-reflect because I was healing so much. But there was many red flags that I ignored. And a lot of the reason, I know, so I'm a qualified counselor as well. I've, through the years, realized the reason I ignored them red flags went actually back to my childhood and growing up in a home where my father was quite a dominant figure. He's an Irish man, and Irish men and women, you know your place, and that's what it is. And there was a lot of emotional damage when we were children, which is what led me to jump so quickly into my relationship and my marriage, because I was just desperate for somebody to love me. And it was only through then going through the marriage, I realized actually, I don't need to be in a relationship. I can do this by myself, and I can have a career, and I can raise my son. And I did, and I've done it all by myself. I'll be honest, I look back and I'm not sure how I done it. Thank you, mother. I'm not sure how I done it, but I did it. And there's many women out there that can do it as well. There are strong women, and that doesn't mean you can't have your moment of your slide down the fridge with tears because you've had a really tough day. But there are women out there that are strong, that are doing it all. And we need to, as women, empower that more. I think women can tend to be quite catty and judgmental. And if there is a woman who's having a tough time, you need to be able to be there to support her, not tear her down or judge her. Because everybody's different as well in how they manage trauma. But there's definitely red flags I didn't pick up on, that I did see through the whole relationship. But by the time I'd really realized what it was too late. I was already in it and I couldn't get out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of the times when you have stuff, is you looking back is when you realize, and it is kind of a hard pill to swallow. But oh God, yeah. See, this is like I'm thinking, thank you so much, Smurfy. I really appreciate you being willing to come on here. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us? Otherwise, I'm going to ask that you tell us when your shows are, how we can find you, what we can expect when we come to your page. Like, fill us in, man.
So the last thing I'd leave on is to say, trust your gut. There is a saying, and my friend, your mother's just walked in, there's a saying that we have, which is, my spirit doesn't take them. Trust your gut. That feeling that you get is there for a reason. It is all about, and I know people laugh at this, the world is all about energies, and you can feel people's energies. Trust your gut. When something doesn't feel right, it's probably because it's not. Yeah. So I think that's probably a really important lesson. So I stream a lot, a lot. I have quiz night on a Monday at 3:30 Eastern. I have a show called What Do You Meme at 4 p.m. Eastern on a Wednesday. I have Feeling Friday this evening, where we then do In Your Feelings Friday. You can come and request songs. We have a drink. People can get in the box, and I mime. I can't sing, but I'll mime like the best of them, and we'll have a little dance. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, Saturdays, I have my featured show, which is called Biz Smart. So if you have a business, hit me up. I interview business owners on the entrepreneurial journey. And then I do Soul Sunday, which is just a very chilled wake up with me. I do auctions every 2 months. So my next one is on April the 22nd, which is Rep Your Celeb. So if you want to be in it, let me know. You're more than welcome to join.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get your picture on IG. And then I do, starting next Friday and then once a month thereafter, I'm doing streamer introductions. So if you're a new streamer and you want to network and you want to get your face out there, you can come and use my platform to do that. So as a top badge, I do get big numbers, and I want to give back to the community by giving my platform to new streamers so they can come and introduce themselves and network with other people.
I love that idea. You're awesome, man. I wish that I'd have come in your stream sooner, man. I get nervous going in the bad streams though, you know, like being a new person, and it's like, you know, intimidated. It's like that, like starstruck almost, you know, like, oh, and then you guys are like, hi, Lily, and I'm like, oh my God, you know.
I think as well, we get so caught up in in statuses on the app. I can leave my house. No one knows what a top badge is. I am no different to anyone else. It's just a thing at the top of the screen.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. You're awesome. And you guys make sure you favorite Smurfy and you go visit her. If she's on and I'm not on, you'll find me there a lot lately. Sometimes I'm lurking and working, but I'm in there listening because I laugh so hard in your stream.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you for having me on this great show. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. I'll talk to EB about coming on to talk about my business too for your show. But all right, you guys. So in the intermission time here, I either do a game or we have a questionnaire or we do something that he did reach out to me, Smurfy. So, you know, EB did reach out to me and I said, give me a little bit of time. I'm trying to get through a few things here. I got to finish the rest of this moving process and then I'm going to be all in. So Merck, give me a few minutes. We're going to run through these 10 questions that I found last night. I am going to read them off of the computer because I don't know, everybody else does, I guess. So Smurfy, again, thank you so much. If you're just tuning in, this is Lessons Learned. I am Lily. We just had Smurfy in and I got so engulfed. I'm sorry I didn't do the catch up and the reminder halfway through. But we just talked about how your mind over your emotions and how controlling your emotions and remembering that is the one thing you can control about yourself, but you cannot control about others. And that was actually, it was a good message. I needed to hear that today to get through some of the struggles that I've been going through. But I was doing some research and something that you guys, as you know, I'm on my journey to self-love. And it's been really important to me to have my quiet time, which prior to a year and a half ago, I didn't know was so important, but I've learned. And these are going to be 10 questions to ask yourself on your journey to self-love. And question number 1, which instantly I was like, well, darn, are my goals really what I want? Or are they imposed on me by society or popular personalities as right? Meaning, how often have you copied the same goals from year to year, giving promises to 100% fulfillment, but suddenly December is on the nose and everything conceived remains on paper? You reproach yourself, scold, do not understand why you are so lazy, and do not keep your promises. However, as a rule, the matter is completely different. These are simply not your goals. So if you're wanting to do something and you're not doing it, is it really a goal? Like, is what you're striving for, does it make you happy? You know what I mean? Are you willing to put in when you're going to go from A to Z, are you willing to do the work, which is B to Y? A to Z is just the beginning and the end, you know? Question 2, can I rely on myself? And that's actually a serious question. Are you going to get up every morning when you don't want to with the butt crack of dawn, 7 days a week? Are you willing to put in 12, 14, 16-hour days? Are you willing to go 4 months in a row without a day off? I mean, can you trust yourself to remember to put the order in? If I leave the Post-it notes on my desk, yes. I'm just going to be honest there. But at the end of the day, how can you trust yourself? How are you going to find a process to make this work for you? Question 3, do I drive conscious, I can't say that word, or mass consumption? Mass consumption is fading into the background. Thickening through and planning purchases is one of the best ways not to clutter up your life. Today, we are offered such a variety of products, clothing, and services that it was impossible to imagine a few decades ago. But why buy everything that the eyes see indiscriminately? We have the opportunity to purchase quality products at an affordable price that last for many years. Succumbing to trends and buying up burning goods, you lose your individuality, betray your own I, which you created with such difficulty. You betray your potential to form complete self-love. So are you going out and buying things instead of saving money? You know what I mean? Like, I like to buy stuff too, Bee Boop, but sometimes our future needs a savings account, right? You need that money to get your business going or to make a next purchase. For those of you guys just tuning in, I'm going to do a quick run through. I'm Lily. This is Lessons Learned. We have a couple of amazing guests today. We already had Smurfy on, and she gave us a powerful message about pretty much kind of sort of what I've got going on here, the self-love. She had a huge message as far as putting your brain before your emotions, making sure that you are thinking clearly and you're not reacting upon your feelings. So that was awesome. 4, ask, what does the word happiness mean to me? What do you wake up every day? Like you could wake up every day and be happy doing. For me, I miss my market. I am really happy doing the remodeling and the home stuff, but I miss my market, and I'm doing my best to make sure I can relocate it. But it's making sure that I am enjoying what I do every day. Smurfy says happiness is peace. Completely. Happiness is hanging out with my kids, says Cryptics. Yeah, it's happiness for everybody's gonna be different, but it's what makes you smile. Waking up every day, says Housekeeping. Yeah, you know, it's the little things for some people that we as a general forget. Waking up is a blessing. Let's go. This is a fresh start. This is a clean slate. You know, let's go. Not working out, but the feeling. Yes, Murphy says working out, but not, or the feeling after working out, but not the initial process. I feel that, girl, completely. All right, number 5. What disadvantages of another person am I not willing to put up with? Like for me, I know that I can't handle somebody who drinks every single day. Don't get me wrong. I like to have a drink a few times a week, but I can't be with somebody that's drunk every day. If you have a drink or two, that's fine. Calm down, relax, you know, but I cannot be with somebody that's sloppy drunk every day because my dad was an alcoholic. I need somebody who can respect themselves and respect me. A lack of self-reflection, says Smurfy. Housekeeping says a lack of self-respect. Love me, love my dragon, says somebody that's bossy. Cryptics, mental abuse. Boop says no sense of humor. Yeah, they have to be funny. That's huge. You know, Cryptic says physical abuse, of course. Niner says toxic, controlling, scandalous drama. Yeah. Smiley says someone with constant victim syndrome. Oh my goodness. Yes. Smurfy, poor hygiene. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, absolutely. Please don't be the stinky guy in the room. McDreamy says somebody, yeah, drugs are definitely not something that we want to have to deal with, right? It's that's huge, you know, and that's a boundary that you need to make sure is set immediately, because otherwise you're done, you know, it's not going to work. Someone who is naturally negative, says Smurfy too. Yeah. Someone who can't take a joke, says Boop. Y'all got a lot of these. We're going to move on to the next one. So how many people would I like to chat with during the day? This is a little trick in finding an easy way to work that will bring joy. Everything is simple here. We are divided into 2 psychotypes, introverts and extroverts. The first will be calmer and easier to work alone, so that after work he still has the strength for friends and family. But if a person does not attach any importance to this, he is going to build a career in a company where 10 people sit in one room and communicate constantly on the phone. He will give all his strength 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and get home broken and very tired. By answering this question, you will understand what direction in the professional sphere to choose so that you can easily and quickly and safely develop in it. So are you the kind of person that's just gonna, you know, you want to help along the process? Are you the one that's in the face controlling and running it? Are you going to be happy putting that, you know, do you have the energy to put into the job what it needs to be up here? Or are you going to help keep everything up here? I know it's equal levels in my brain. Each one is equally important, but are you going to be the one, like, you know, like the assistant in the background? Or are you the one that's like, hey, let's go? I'm the let's go. For the longest time, I thought that I was more of the, I'm going to sit back here and be quiet and help. No, I want to be the boss. I want to be the boss. I am probably the, I don't know. I'm a combination of introvert and extrovert, to be honest. But now that I've been streaming and now that I really enjoy having the conversations and I enjoy helping people, I definitely realize I'm more of the, I want to be on top. I want to help people. I want to be the reason that people are so excited and happy at the end of the day, you know? I'm more introvert than Howard Hughes, says the seeker. Smiley says, I'm a mix of the both. Used to be extrovert. After working on myself, I enjoy stay back and quiet. Yeah, I'm very much so. I love to go out and I love to be around people, but I don't want to be the center of attention all the time. But when it comes to helping people and getting myself out there to help, I will put myself out there to help people. But to like go dancing and get in the club, I'm kind of more like the wallflower, if that makes any sense. So I would say I'm a little bit of both. I want to be the boss, but at the same time, empower that feeling in others also. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's an equal level. This person is equally as important, but this one's going to sit there and listen to this one explain it. So that's why I say, like, you sit back and you do more of the quiet work while the other one talks about it. But I don't see one as at an uneven level. I just see them as, you know, one is ready to explain it out loud and the other one is ready to do the research. I don't know if that makes, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. All right, number 7. Answer in one word. One word. Only. Okay, guys. Answer in one word. What is between me and the dream life that / my main goal? So what is between you and your dream life? What's between it? Fear. Yes. All right. So we have housekeeping says nothing. Boop says money. M says thoughts. Dreaming and Smurfy both say fear, and I am all about that one. Will, myself, that's fear. You are afraid of yourself, sweetheart. Stop it. Doubt, that's a fear. Procrastination. Procrastination is from fear, I believe. That's my personal thing. Not a doctor, not a professional, but I'm just going to say that procrastination is a reaction, not a cause. It's from fear. A fear to do it. So we procrastinate because of that. All right, number 8, how could I simplify my life and focus on what is most important? Our everyday life is often full of routine, business, unnecessary meetings, empty pastime on social networks, and all the takers of our time add fatigue and the feeling that we do not have time. So if you were trying to reach your goals, what is something you could do daily? I don't know, 10 minutes to make yourself, you know, love thyself. Removing media says housekeeping. Yeah. So for me, I don't know. I could easily think of 5 to 10 minutes a day where instead of being in a stream, I could research and make a phone call or some. Smiley says, get up here. Not till after 11, ma'am. All right. Next question. We're going to run out of time. So number 9, things that give me energy. What gives you energy? To be able to receive energy when necessary is a real art. Learn to do this from the things around you. Conduct an internal dialogue and make 2 lists. Which actions add energy to you and which take away. For example, you are inspired when you listen to calm music. Start to work twice as intensely wearing headphones, but do not have time if you get up later than 10 a.m. The answer to this question will increase productivity and teach you to find beauty in everyday life and good self-love. So, ends in love me, say coffee. Oh my goodness. Smurfy says, have a purpose. I'm sorry I keep saying Smurf. I don't know why Smurfy is so hard for me to get out. And I super apologize about that. For those of you just turning in, I have one more question to ask. You guys are watching Lessons Learned. I am Lily, and I want to thank you so much for being here today. We are doing questions to ask on your journey to self-love. and we had Smurfy on the show previously here. She's relayed a message about putting your brain in front of your emotions and reacting using the brain versus the instant reaction to whatever fear or complication that you're going through. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and hit that favorite button up top. I would super appreciate it. And the last question before I have Merc get in the box is, what inspires me? What makes your eyes light up? What goes on through your day that you just, oh my gosh, you have to, it has to be a part of your day. Ask yourself, what am I ready to do with an open mind? Not paying attention to anything. Are there things you like to do so much that you can go to the end of the world for this? The answer will make clear which hobby really suits you. Find such a thing and you will not just relax, but get a whole storm of emotions. And that is so streaming for me. Being on here, hearing stories, talking to people, finding people who've been through similar situations and talking through these things. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Your daughter, Boop says your daughter inspires you. Cryptic says I inspire. You're silly. Smiley says traveling, having an open mind, and just to be in awe with life. Yeah, I am going to say what inspires me is when I can look around and see people who are happy people. I initially get jealous, right? Oh, God, they're always so happy and bubbly. Oh my God. But then I'm like, oh yeah, that's jealousy. Why do we get jealous? Because we want what they have. Right? Right. But I wasn't for a very long time. I was not a very happy person for a very long time. I was a rather cranky butthead for a long time. But nowadays, it's the little things. Dreamy says laughing children, child's laughter inspires him. It's being around my family, said Morgan, being around your kids and your family. So yeah, it's crazy what inspires people and what we're able to look at to get inspired. But that being said, I am out of time and I need to get Merc in the box whenever he is ready. So Merc, whenever you're ready, you let me know and I will go ahead and I will get you going. So we're about to introduce Merc. He's going to talk about his life lesson, and I will let him explain that. I want to thank you guys for coming in. I want to thank you all for the gifts. I want to thank you all for just being here. We're just waiting. Merc. Yes. All right. Merc is ready, you guys. Everybody, please welcome Merc. Here we go. Hi.
Hey everyone. What's good?
How are you?
Feeling pretty good. You know, excited. I've been Smurfy. I was over here like, oh my lord, like did because I was talking to Lily yesterday. You know, my stream, and I was telling her, you know, a little bit more in depth of what I was gonna talk about today, and the parallels in what Smurfy was saying. It was pretty interesting, and I find it like, you know, it's one of those, you know, I call it God arrangements, you know, get male perspective of same situation. I was sitting here like, oh man, okay, all right, so we're gonna do this again here, huh? So as you know, the life lesson I learned is to value myself and to never settle for less than what I feel I deserve. And you know, I learned that lesson through a divorce, through you know, still going through in this time of my daughter being kidnapped by the person that I loved, and being left feeling with nothing and feeling like in a home where I was looking at walls and saying to myself, everything I worked for, all the things I put together, the business that I had, or everything that I had, it really went to zero and it went to nothing. And at that point in my life I had to come to, I went through, that was probably the biggest and hardest thing I ever been through. And I was shot 5 times, you know what I mean? And, I've been through a lot of things, and I'd rather get shot than to ever go through that moment. That moment, that feeling of despair, the feeling of not being able to control anything and being the person that I am, that I had things in control. I thought I did. I was a pastor. I couldn't support my family, so I stopped doing what I was passionate about to go work and get my family to where I needed it to be. Worked hard and, excelled in a business that I ended up getting my own business in a matter of literally a half a year. And did all these things from a moment where I said, I'm going to make this happen, And to have that happen in one of the precipice of the business, it was in a moment that I had to invest in a hard time. And in that moment, it was like, yo, next week, it's about to be great. You know what I mean? And sitting there in an empty house. But the amazing thing and the most beautiful thing of that is that moment in my life helped me find me. That moment in my life helped me find the beautiful person that I am. Because when you're in those situations, Murphy, you touched me. To feel that you're broken down to a point that you don't know who you are. It's crazy. But it's so amazing when you can find yourself again. These tears are not tears of sadness. It's amazing because I'm not gonna lie, I prayed that I had somebody here that understood me. And it's kind of cool that it's you, Smurfy, and that's the reason it's like a little bit of answered prayer in the mix of it. Because this is not easy for me to talk about. But what is easy for me to talk about is how I was able to come through wanting to die, wanting to not live, wanting to not do anything, not wanting to do more until I said I want to. Until that moment I said I deserve to live. I should live. I have a lot to offer. I have a purpose. I have something to do. And I'm not going to let this stop me because that's what she wanted. And coming from being with a narcissistic person, a person that everything that you thought you did good, it don't matter, to find something bad, to do all those things, to coming to a point to realize that, to being away from it, feeling the pain of not having my child, but having the joy to realize things and bad decisions and choices that I made because of past pains or desires that I wanted. Why I rushed into the marriage. Why did I push it, knowing that a woman really wasn't in love with me? I knew it in my heart to the day that I was going to get married. To a week that I was going to get married, I went to a Dunkin' Donuts, put the ring in the table, and I said, if you ain't really with me, I don't want to do this. And the way Smurfy said, reading those red flags, those things, the same issue that was in the table with that ring was the same reason the marriage never worked. That choice, I could have made that choice. That's reason, in many ways, when I sat there, you know what it is to be mad and angry at another person, but also to come to the point that you can't be more angry with this person. That now you're only there in the four walls and you got to look at yourself. And you got to come into yourself and look at yourself and say, where did I go wrong? Because what's going on with me? Because in the end of the day, they're no longer there. Now I'm here alone. What do I do now? And if I said I want to go for it and I want to fulfill my purpose, my goals, even though I'm broken, how can I do it? I could only do it. Yes, Murphy's correct. Your mindset, my mind. I will never self-defeat my mind no more because I have great things to do. I'm a great person. I have too much love to love. Even all that, these things that I'm saying now came through a journey of almost 2 years. Where I ended up finding myself in a platform like this, broken. A week after I got grazed with a bullet across my chest. Coming into an application with one mindset of just releasing stress, just whatever, however way I could. and then started meeting like-minded individuals, people that cried with me, people that helped me to grow and made me the person that I am right now, 2 years later. And I met my soon-to-be wife in this platform. You know, it's coming from a moment that in that day that I was sitting there broken, hurt. I said I would never do it again. I said I would never go through that again because I felt that no one, you know, I made absolute statements. But within those 2 years, I went through a time of me, a time that I would not be controlled by my sexuality or my drive, that I would not be controlled no longer by bad decisions, that I would no longer be controlled by emotions, that I'm going to think about my decisions. I'm going to look at somebody and make sure that they're about me before I make decisions like they're about me. Before I put them in a position that they shouldn't be in, I make sure that they deserve to be. And it's amazing that I was able to, you know, I felt like that criteria was not going to be possible because I decided that day that I would not settle for less. I decided that day that I had a purpose. I decided that day when I picked up my own pieces because I even cried out to God and he didn't give me an answer. And I understand it now because he already knew I knew the answer. He knew that I knew the answer. He understood that he knew what he sold in me. And he knew that in that moment I would find me again. And I'm so thankful that he didn't answer because I was angry at him. But sometimes the silence, sometimes you need the silence so that you can be able to hear the reality, so you can stop living in your delusion, so you can start looking into the reality of things and start being accountable for the things that you bring into your life, the things that you bring into your circle, the people that you have around you, who you call friend, who you call family, and do they deserve that title? Because the sad part is that I used to do that. I made decisions in my life because of titles, because of choices. I created boxes. Myself and then told myself I couldn't get out of them when I created them myself. And you know what? I'm so glad that I'm box free, baby. The only box I'm in is in these streams, and I'm talking some truth, and I'm spilling my heart because you know what? I love this. Because, you know, for people that don't understand, you know, it's going to be real for you if you're real. Because it is about energy. And it don't matter if you're not physically with someone, you feel the vibe. You can feel when someone's hurting. You can feel when someone's struggling. And you know, if you can vibe with me, you understand that you've felt some of these moments. If you have the opportunity to relate with somebody, because sometimes when you're in that situation, you feel like nobody understands.
100%.
Be that love, because you know, sometimes, man, that's all you need. And I'm so thankful that I had somebody like my top gifter, Lorraine, the goddess, because she's somebody that found me all types of messed up. You know, so messed up that even I was fighting my own self. And she decided to have patience. And she decided to say, hey, I don't care. I'm interested in getting to know you, even though I tried all I could to avoid it. And I'm getting married. I'm still streaming 2 years later. She motivates me every day to feel better about the facts, to understand, you know, to live in the life of it is what it is, but I'm going to do what I can do. And from losing, from not being able to be in my child's life, not even being able to see a picture, to have an opportunity to be a father to 2 beautiful children that call me dad, to feel like I'm being made whole again, and to understand that I had to learn never to settle, that I have something to do, and that is to be a father. That is to build these beautiful children to be what they need to be and be prepared so when I'm be able to see my baby. And when I do, it's going to be amazing. And I'm blessed because I have the hope that it will happen because God already filled certain voids that I needed.
So for you guys tuning in, this is Mark, the God. I am Lily. You guys are watching Lessons Learned, and he is God. I don't think there's very many guys in the house at the moment right now. I'm going to say this is probably one of the more empowering, powerful messages that have gone through, and where we're talking about not settling and how we deserve to be happy, and we deserve to have the things that keep us on a good path. And Burke, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm like, oh my God, my water, where I'm trying not to cry. I'm like, all right, I need to talk. I've settled so much in my life, and here they go anyways. I'm gonna say probably when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was 29, and I was probably about 30 when I realized I had spent my entire life settling. Whether it was a job, whether it was a relationship, friendships even. And when I got pregnant with her, I said, there's no way I want my daughter to grow up settling. I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? We all do. We all know that we can push ourselves to be a little bit better. We all know we can push ourselves to reach our dreams. But I wasn't. And when I had her, I said, I'm not settling. And I've caught myself a couple times like, oh crap, here I go again. But I stopped myself. I'm not doing this. I know what I want. I know what my life is capable of, and I want to find a person that's going to be there for that. I want that person that's not going to give up on me, and we'll meet them, find them eventually. But
that's the key part, you know what I mean? Someone that doesn't give up on you, you know. It's really it's that's like probably the most healing thing, to have somebody say, yeah, I may not agree with everything that you do, but I'm not giving up on you because I know the beautiful things that you are, you know. And that's kind of like cool. But but even you can't see that within yourself in the moment, and you're like, you bugging. I'm telling you right now, nah, no, we're friends. Like, you know what I mean? And to have someone to literally like, all right, we'll see. You know what I mean? Because again, evidently she knew what she knew, and I didn't know that in the moment. But I'm so glad that she knew and she pushed on it, and I'm like happier than I've been in a long, long time.
You give her a big hug for me. You give her a big hug for me and tell her thank you.
Listen, like, look, I'm a mess. People, I deal with PTSD. I have TBI and dealt with depression for a long time. It may seem like me, Merc, right now I'm very energetic, but yo, I go through it, guys. Like, I deal with things every day. And, you know, the people that come to my life, they know it. I'm an open book. Why? Because this is a channel where I'm able to connect with people. And if it's, you know, the people that know me, they know that if you're dealing with stuff, come through. If it's some real stuff, I don't care what I'm doing. Let's talk. I'm not shy. I don't shy away from it, because I've understood that if a person's willing and they're going through something and they're willing to talk about it, man, that takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, it does. And I trust, I exhaust myself on here a lot, but I too, I'm an open book, and I want people to know that when you visit me, this is your safe space. I'm not going to let anybody put you down. And if you need to talk, I'm here. That being said, when can we find you live? What can we expect when we come see you? You know?
I'm usually live from around like 8 p.m. to about 2 a.m. in the morning, or 1 a.m. And then I'm off for a little bit, and I'm back on more than likely around 6:30 to about maybe the most 2, and then so on. Yeah, I stream a lot.
Early mornings and late night. Gotcha.
I kind of hit it both. Look, okay, I'm trying to do more morning streams because it's, you know, hey, I'm trying to get out there, you know, so for the crowd.
I love my morning stream, so we'll have to bet, and we can help each other out there. But Merc, thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. That was an amazing message. Thank you for being here.
One more thing. I'm in a show. I'm in a lip syncing battle in Pop Princess Live. No, I don't know if y'all know. I'm in quite a bit shows. I'm trying to collect these wins. All right. I got like banners, and I'm like, emoji, give me these win banners.
When is the battle? When is it?
It's gonna be at, I believe it's, you know what? You see, talking about banners. That's the time. That's how I know the times. It's in Pop Princess. It's a feature. It's feature show. It's lip sync king battle. Merc, here, man. Thank you. Fade me. Come through in my life. Say hi. But I'm gonna be in a lip syncing battle, and I'm trying to win because I lost last week, and I said I'm coming back in Avengers, so I chose the right songs. So if you want to see me some good lip syncing, you know, be coming in for the clout.
All right, I'm coming. I got I'll do my best. I'll send me a thing on IG or something with the time. So that
I'm gonna post it. Like, I'm gonna repost it on IG in my story. So, like right now after this.
All right, Merk, I gotta wrap things up. It's 11 already, but thank you so much. Mwah. Thank you
for having me. Thank you for having me. It's been a blessing. This thing was great. Thank you, Smurfy. You gave me strength.
Remember at the beginning how I said it's crazy how the guests somehow always line up and it just kind of brings everything together? This is my proof of that. But all right, now I have my card. I'm gonna read the card really quick. If you are welcome to stay in the box if you want, or you're welcome to click out. It's up to you. So happiness is a hound dog in the sun. We aren't on earth to be happy, but to experience incredible things. Now, I don't want you to answer. You got to think, and you come back next week, and I'll ask this at the beginning. So it says, how would you finish this sentence? Happiness is. Just think about it. Just think for a little bit. Happiness is a hound, dog in the sun. We aren't on earth to be happy, but to experience incredible things. Happiness is what? And on that note, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Lessons Learned. We had Merk, we had Smurfy on. Oh my God, there was tears and all kinds of stuff today, all right? But you guys, it was amazing. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next Friday, 10 to 11. All right? Guys, remember, I believe in you. You've got this. Have a good weekend. Bye, guys. And because it's not really a featured show yet, I can still stay on for a few minutes. That was